Welcome back, and we're going to continue our college basketball talk. Alex Barth, joined by Jeff, Max, Dylan, and I just asked you your name and I can't remember it. Patrick, okay. But right now we're going to go back to part 2 of the interview you saw earlier. Jimmy Myers and Max Block, they're going to get into coaches, their roles in the success of their programs, and does anybody belong in the same sentence as the legendary John Wood?
Arizona, UConn. I want to break it down like this. If Arizona gets the ball to Williams in a position below the foul line where he can attack the basket continuously, it's going to be difficult for UConn to defend that with one defender. They don't have one guy his size. He's so unique. He could be the first player picked in the NBA draft if it happens tomorrow. But I'm just saying that's their problem. The other problem on the other side is how do you lock yourself to Kemba Walker and keep locked on him? Yep. Because he's the guy, when they get in trouble, they're going to go to. They even bring Shabazz Napier off the bench to go to the 1 position to move Kemba to the 2 so he can run around and get open. And you keep forgetting Lamb. He's that other option.
Big last game.
He had a huge game. He's had 3 huge games. He had 4 huge games in the Big East tournament.
And while Kemba's scoring over 30 the past 2 games, that's what you expect out of Kemba almost. And then you have Lamb who's scoring over 20. That is as big, if not bigger, than Kemba's production.
It's just as big or bigger, like you said, Max. The reason being is that he's not getting as many offensive opportunities as Kemba is. The offense is not geared to him. He's picking up. This guy is so smooth. I'm telling you, I can see him playing. And if he gains, let's say if he's a freshman, let's say he grows 2 or 3 more inches, he can be 6'8", 6'9", smooth like Kevin Durant. I mean like Durant. I mean, he's that smooth and getting his shot off. I mean, he's that quiet assassin. Everybody knows Kemba, that's the guy.
The
and
versatile player who can really do everything.
You keep losing this guy.
Right.
Just like on Arizona, you keep focusing on just Darrell Williams, and these other guys are going to kill you. They played. It wasn't Williams alone. He had 25 of his 32 in the first half. That kept them in the game. Remember,
they won the game in the second half.
They were trailing by 6.
They won the game in that second half through
the
the other
half,
players.
Everybody started hitting because Duke had to shift their focus to, okay, we got to stop this guy. We got to stop Max. Well, you're Williams. We got to stop Williams. Okay, that opens up all these other options. Everything on that floor is now open.
Right.
You can get some shots. You're going to get some look. Just hit them. All you got to do is hit, because I got 3 guys on me. All you got to do is hit your darn shot. And they started hitting shots. Game was gone. Just like that.
Yep, and so plenty of great players, great teams.
Oh, yeah. It's
definitely going to be a great game in that Western bracket.
And you know, and the other game I look at, high-profile game, think about this. Kansas playing, isn't Kansas playing Kentucky now?
VCU.
No, VCU. And then they'll play Kentucky. But Kentucky has a bunch of athletes.
They're
These
playing
are
UNC,
athletes.
yep.
Yeah, I'm just saying, they're going to play Carolina. That's the match. Those 2 games. All right, look at the lineups. You have Henson, you have Barnes, Zeller,
right.
and you have the point guard that I really
Marshall.
like too, Marshall. Oh my gosh, lefty.
All
4 of these guys may wind up playing in the NBA.
Right.
All 4 of them could be there. That's how deep that. And I'm not talking about the guys that are coming off the bench. I'm talking Strickland and those other. I'm talking about those 4 guys. Now, then you shift to the other team.
Kentucky.
You got 4 guys right there.
Yep.
And remember, just try to imagine this. What if Wall and Cousins had have stayed?
It's not even imaginable. They would have
They'd be the
NBA
number 1
players
seed.
on their bench.
Exactly.
Sherlock NBA
they would
players
have
coming in as subs.
and they would have been the overall number 1 seed going in. Kentucky would have probably finished instead of 6 losses they had, they might have had 2 or 3, maybe. But I'm just saying, those 2 guys left as underclassmen. Wall left after 1 year.
Right.
Shifted back a couple of years before Memphis. Roberts, the guard. Rose, the guard. They're in the finals.
Yep.
Rose left as a freshman.
And look what he's doing in the NBA. You do that at a
Dominated.
college level.
But I'm just saying,
not even
how much better would he have been if he went back the next year on that same Memphis team? A couple of guys left. What if these guys stayed?
Right.
And I'm not an advocate of them staying in school. You get a chance to play pro ball and you can make that kind of money, you go. Because you're not going to college to be a brain surgeon or anything else. We put this pipe dream in these guys' heads when I hear Dick Vitale and all these people say, well, you know, they should be staying in college. Hey, Dick, if you had a chance to play like they played, and you had a chance to be a pro and go to the pros directly from high school or whatever, you wouldn't be singing that tune. That is you selling ESPN, selling the college game to help you get in the Hall of Fame. God love you. God bless you. But it's wrong, because the background that many of these young people come from is a totally different background. They didn't have the opportunities that you have been given. They have to play for everything they get.
Right.
Kemba Walker out of New York. Momo Jones is out of New York. These guys play in the street. I've seen these guys since they were about this big.
Right.
Their whole life is basketball. They're not going to college.
They're not aspiring to get their college degree, which might be unfortunate, but they're aspiring to play in the NBA.
They have
and
a
to
skill,
make a career.
Max. They got a skill. They have a skill
they need
that's
to
better
capitalize on.
than the other people's skill that's out there. That's what they're there for. I still think Kemba will have a difficult time at the next level. One, because he's small. And I don't know, going to the basket, he ain't going to be 6'1". You're not going to be able to take that kind of punishment. He will get a look, just like Jimmer. Fredette's going to get a look. But these guys are small. They're going to have some problems at the next level, because everybody up there can play. See, the difference in college, if you have one good player, you are a top 50 team. You have two good players, three good players, you're a top 25 team. You have three or more, you have more than three, you're a top 10 team.
You're a contender.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and they can dominate at this level. But remember, everybody you're playing at the next level was a star somewhere. So that's why the NBA is still the ultimate game. And that's the ultimate goal for them to get to.
Right, and so the last thing I got to bring up before we end this, you look at some of the teams. You have some of the best coaches in history. I know you don't really like him, but Calipari you have Roy Williams, you have Jim Calhoun. You have some of the best coaches in the history of college basketball. Then you look at the other side. You have Brad Stevens for Butler in the Elite Eight, second year in a row, 34 years old, and he is making it happen. You look
Marvelous
at VCU,
coach.
Shaka Smart, 33 years old. You have the future of college basketball.
What about
versus
you from Gonzaga, another young guy? These guys are wonderful young coaches.
It's amazing how they can play with the veteran, the guys who have been here, have won championships, who have done it all. Do you think that the coach really, does it matter if you have that long-time name, or anyone at this level, no matter their age, no matter their experience, they have the ability to be able to lead a team this far?
Coaching is such a delicate art. And I call it a delicate art. I've coached in my life. I've coached at every level, whether it be in the street or whatever, from pee-wee to pros. And I've coached pros as well. To be able to communicate at that level, that's probably the greatest thing that a lot of these guys have. You mentioned Stevens, brilliant young coach. He loves Butler, and he'll probably stay there. He may wind up staying there for his whole career if he wants to. Will he win a national championship there? I don't know, but he's come pretty damn close. He came within a shot last year of getting there.
Great chance this year, too.
And a great chance this year. Although they may be at the Waterloo here, because it's the talent factor. They just may not have enough talent to play at in this next game, and because it doesn't get easier, it gets tougher.
Yep.
Florida is going to give them a game because they have more athletes. And Billy Donovan has won too. You didn't put his name
there before.
He's won twice,
He's one of the
back-to-back years. But what I'm saying is, Calipari's never won anything. He's a he is a wonderful coach. He is a good coach at
Over
recruiting.
500 wins.
At recruiting, you don't win 500 games if you don't have the talent, though.
Right.
See, I always say it's still talent. Is he a great game coach to me? No, I still don't think he's a great game coach, and he won't convince me of that until he wins a national championship, because he had a 9-point lead with less than 2 minutes to play with Memphis 2 years ago. There's no way they should have lost that game. And to me, when you talk about greatness, if you want to tell me about greatness, I look at the top of the pyramid down. There's John Wooden and there's everybody else. Regardless of Krzyzewski got 4, Wooden's got 10. There's a big difference between
all about
10
winning the championship?
and 4. Well, it's ultimately in our lives, but
Right.
no, Wooden was a great teacher of the game. He did it before Kareem. He did it with a small speed pressing team. With Kareem and after Kareem, they still won. It's still about recruiting, though. People want to play for John Wooden because of his principles, how he lived his life. This man just recently died. My gosh, I had a chance to sit in his presence and talk with this man for hours. The genius of this man was Midwestern guy who came from Indiana, was a college All-American. He's one of the only guys, I think the only guy in history that went in as a coach and a player that have gone into the Hall of Fame. I think Lenny Wilkins too could be in that vein too. But John went as a player, All-American at Purdue, and then as a coach at UCLA. And this quiet, shy, Midwestern guy became just an unbelievable coach. But it took him 16 years to get there. And people keep forgetting that. Where was he all? He says, well, I guess I wasn't as smart as people thought I was the first 16 years because we never got anywhere close there. But once they won in 64, the reign went from 64 to 75, 10 in 11 years. That's 7 in a row. When you want to talk about greatness, and whether it's Roy Williams, who has 2, people keep forgetting. We didn't mention Dean Smith. You didn't mention I believe it's Bracken at Ohio State back in the 60s. Adolph Rupp, who his political or his racial thinking, forget. But great X and O guy. Knew the game inside. The Baron knew the game inside out. I'm just saying there's so many great. Phil Wolpert was the coach for Bill Russell's teams at 55 and 56 when they won back-to-back national championships.
Bob Knight, can't forget his
Bob
name.
Knight, he's got to be in there with 3. And then now Krzyzewski has 4. He steps to the highest part of that plateau underneath Wooden. I got to go 10, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Lots of guys have 2. I mean, if Jim Calhoun wins again, he'll have 3.
Yep.
That puts him in a unique position.
With few others.
Few others. Very few, because so many things have to come together. The timing. Every single thing has to play right now. You got the right team, right time. You got to get some breaks. You got to have great recruiting. You have the talent to put on the floor, and they've got to execute your game plan under incredibly stressful situations. This is stress. These games are now about who can handle stress better. I played this game a lot, and I've won a lot of championships because I always was blessed with the feeling of being calm under pressure. I always played my best games in big games because I was just calm. I wasn't letting anything rattle me. All the stuff going on, let them do it. But that's what it boils down to.
And so once again, I'm Max Block, and Jimmy Myers. Thanks, as always.
My pleasure.
It's always great to talk with you and get your
pleasure.
opinion. And so we're going to send it to a quick break, but stick around for more K Sports Sunday.